Okay, so between the Collins Cup and Ironman Switzerland, there was only a week's gap. So how did you end up training for that? How did you recover?
So recovery after the Collins Cup. I did initially the day of the Collins Cup probably wasn't the best recovery because the PTO put on a big party, which was actually a really good laugh. Loads of the athletes, free bar. So obviously I made the most of the pina coladas that they had on offer, and a few drinks. But then the next day, on the Sunday, it was all back to business. Looking ahead to Ironman Switzerland, which wasn't on the cards when Kona was going on, but last minute change, entered it 2 weeks before. So wasn't the best prep, but you got to be in it to win it. So put an entry in, and then got a 9-hour train journey from Slovakia to Zurich for the race, or to Thun, sorry, which was a bit of a grind. To be honest, I'd probably fly next time because the train guard caused a bit of disruptions. He wanted, long story, but he wanted to kick me off for having my bike on there, and it went back and forth. Luckily, Noel Mulkey, TikTok extraordinaire, saved me, and I didn't get kicked off in Innsbruck. But it's a completely different story. Like if you see me at a race, I'll tell you a bit more, but it's a long one for this. Anyway, training went well, ticked over, rode the course when I was out there with another pro who I know, Tom Oosterdijk, and thought it was pretty good. It was undulating the whole way, technical, so a really good course for a good time trialist. If you're a good time trialist, good cyclist, and you want a hard course that's going to split it up, Switzerland's the one. Saw a bit of the wrong course, and it was flat, but it was a bit technical. There was a lot on trails, there was a bit around the town, and there was a lot of twists and turns. So I thought it was quick, but not the quickest, because obviously every time you go around the corner it's going to slow you down. But I just ticked over. I did a few runs, a couple of rides, a 3-hour one, another 2-hour one, and like a few intervals in there, but not much, just kind of like race pace stuff, or a bit above race pace to get the legs firing. It was mainly recovering and making sure I felt fresh on race day.
Okay, so overall, how did the race go?
So the race went well. Got second place in it, which was decent, but I really wanted to win it, so that was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But taking you back to the swim, had an awesome swim, managed to make the lead pack. A lot of people will have seen that the swim was actually short. It was only 3Ks in the end, but when we got in the race, in the pro race, we were under the idea that it was a 3.8k swim, but they had to make some last minute changes while we were actually in the water. So the course got changed, but we were lucky because it was going to get cancelled. I can't really go into the details, but the swim was going to get cancelled, but it didn't, and they managed to keep the swim on, but they had to shorten it while the race was on. So massive big up to Switzerland for that, and for actually getting the swim instead of looking for the easy option, which would have been cancelling it. But yeah, we didn't know when we were in the water. It just felt slow. I was swimming along, and all of a sudden we're starting to come into the finish, and I'm thinking, oh, this is quick. But to be honest, I thought, oh, maybe that's what it's like when you make the front pack. You go a lot quicker, and because I was concentrating on not getting dropped, I was kind of a bit excited. But yeah, great swim. Onto the bike. I hit it hard right from the start because I'd been practicing my transitions, and I wanted to have a good transition and try and break up the race a bit. So straight out onto the bike, my plan was to hit it hard, try and shell a few people instantly if I could, and if I can, get away. So the first 12 minutes I actually rode 390 watts, which for me is really good. Like I think at the Collins Cup the week before, I averaged about 350 for it, so it was higher power than that, but only managed to shell a few people. And it goes back to, I think, it was a similar story as to how the bike went, like we would get gaps and then it'd close up. But a lot of it comes down to motorbikes on the course, like on this race we had a lot of motorbikes with us. They create a huge draft. People weren't really getting dropped because if they fell behind the group, they could just move out and they could get the slipstream of the motorbikes to get back in. So it kind of neutralised a lot of racing, while at the same point stopping people from behind even catching up to us. There was like one guy, can't remember who he was, but he put out massive power, 340 watts for the first lap, and he lost time to us, which is a bit of a shame for him. And it's a bit of a shame that races are going that way and motorbikes are massively influencing the race. But it's a long story, and it's an ongoing thing in these pro racing that motorbikes are massively affecting results, and they're pulling groups away. And it's not always for the benefit of people in the lead group. If you're a strong cyclist, you don't want the motorbikes because they neutralise it and they keep everything together. And it just makes it impossible to get away, really. If you're a weak cyclist, you're laughing, but we don't want that in the racing. We want the strongest guys to win on the day. But rant over, that's how the bike went. I managed to get away towards the end with Jan van Berkel, which was the one guy in the group that I was trying not to. to get away with. I was happy to work with anyone else, not him, not because I don't like him. He's an alright guy. He's probably a really nice guy, to be honest, but he's a very quick runner, and I didn't want to run with him because he'd run 2:39 in Tulsa, and I knew he was a very dangerous guy. And it was his home race, so he was obviously going to get a lot of support out there, and he was going to be very motivated to win. So when I saw I got away with him, because I tacked on a climb, I tacked 40k's out, 450 watts I think I did, 460 watts for 2.5 minutes, which when you're about 140k's into the Ironman, and you've been working pretty hard leading into the climb, that was pretty decent. Like my first lap was 330 something normalised, so we didn't take it easy. It was easy after the first lap to that hill, because then it got quite tactical and it was looking for the right move. So that separated me from the group, but Jan came with me. I thought, God, I'm going to have to work with him. At least I can distance the other guys. There was 9 of us in the group. One guy had already pulled away just before that, William Menison, which was okay because I was confident I could outrun him, because it was his first Ironman, inexperience and all that. And so he got away. Then I was in second and third with Jan. We worked together, and in my head I was thinking at this point, I just want to work with him. Hopefully he'll tire himself out and he won't run like he did in Tulsa. Because in Tulsa, a lot of people said, coming into this race, is there a lot of revenge between you two? Do you want to beat him from Tulsa? Of course I wanted to beat him in Tulsa. Like, I was quite vocal in Tulsa. I thought he sat in. There was a group of 4 people up the road, and really, why are people sitting in? In my head, I thought, why are people sitting in the chase group when we should be working together and we should be working hard to put ourselves in a winning position, because that's what it's all about. Like, it's all well and good sitting in when you're at the front of the race. You can do that if you want, but when there's 4 guys 5 minutes up the road, 4 minutes up the road, why are you doing that? Like, it didn't make sense. So I was quite vocal about it. Obviously, coming into this race, he probably wanted to show me on the bike that he was strong, and to be fair to him, he was very strong. He came with me when I did. We worked together. I thought he was going to tire himself out. Got into the run. I decided to not put any socks on. I managed to get 30 seconds on him. It was a spare of the moment decision because I knew I was coming off the bike with him and I wanted to get every second I could. And I knew 30 seconds, if we were running a very fast marathon, might be enough that he tries to catch me and he blows up and I could win. So I made a spare of the moment decision. No socks. Boom. Took 30 seconds on him out of transition, which for me, my transitions are normally terrible. So I got out 30-second lead. That put him on the back foot. And I was on the front foot then. I was running 550 miles, or if you're in kilometre pace, 339k's. I was just ticking them off. I felt really good. And I managed to catch, he caught me at about 12k, 11k into the race, something like that. 11 to 13k, somewhere around that anyway. I thought, I'm not going to go with him because I'm running really quick pace here. I'm just going to run at my own pace. I saw Laura, she was like, stick to your game. And I thought, yeah, that's what I need to do. If I'm running 550 miling, which is about, 232, 233 marathon pace, I'm running way above what I've ever done before and probably what I'm capable of. So he's surely running too quick. So I just kept knocking out these 550 miles, 555s, anything around that. Even had like some 540 somethings. And he managed to get a gap when he did overtake me at 20 seconds. They just pinned 20 for absolutely ages. And then we got to about 26 to 27 kilometres in. I managed to get the gap down to 8 seconds then. And I thought, yes, this is it. I've closed the gap. I can beat him now. I've just got to catch him. I've just got to finally close it up. And we were going into the last lap, and we kept the gap at about 8 seconds for a while. Up until this point, I could see him just in front of me the whole time. But I just couldn't close it. And he managed to pull away a little bit. We got into the last 5 kilometres of the race. He was still at like 20 seconds, and then I just started to fade. And unfortunately, he pulled away, and he managed to get the win. I managed to get second, and yeah, the longest, we were never more than 30 seconds away from each other. I think the whole race until from the swim to 40k's into the run. Crazy. Like, I've never been through anything like that before, and the run was actually long. I got nearly 43 kilometres, and on my training peaks, it said a 2:36:42 marathon, which I would have took that hands down before the start. But he managed to catch me by 30 seconds, put a minute into me, which was just unbelievable. Best run I've ever seen in my life. I had my best run and still came up short, so fair play to him on that. Very disappointed though, and I've been questioning myself since that race. Was it mental? Did I let myself down mentally? Like Laura said, she saw me afterwards and she's like, you don't look as bad as what you normally do. I think it might have been mental, and yeah, that really kind of played on me leading into Chattanooga. You know, like, did I lose the race more because mentally I wasn't able to go to the well? And obviously Jan had the support from like his friends. I heard a podcast with him and he mentioned a lot of like people who he knew were there, and it really brought him to the next level. And I just wonder, was it mentally he beat me or was it physically? I don't know. But after Switzerland, I just I've just been thinking about that the whole time.